स्वागत है जी आप सभी का हमारी एक और नई वीडियो के अंदर। तो कैसे हो आप सभी लोग, आई होप सब अच्छे होंगे। तो पिछली वीडियो में हमने यहाँ तक रीडिंग करी थी, उसके बाद अब करते हैं प्रोटेक्टिंग द राइट्स ऑफ दलित्स एंड Adivasis. In addition to policies, our country also has specific law that guard against the discrimination and exploitation of marginalized communities. Let us read the following case study adapted from a real life account to understand how Dalits use the protection that laws provide. The villages of Jakmalgur and are gearing up for a big festival once in 5 years. The local deity is honored and priests from 20 neighboring villages come from their 5-day event. The ceremony begins with a member of a Dalit community washing the feet of all the presents and then bathing in the water used for this. In Jakmalpur, the person who performed this task belonged to Ratnam's family. His father and grandfather had both performed the same task before him, though they were never allowed to enter the temple. This ritual was viewed as a great honor bestowed on them on this special occasion. Now it was Ratnam's turn. Ratnam was all of 20 years studying and journeying in a nearby college. He used to perform the ritual. He said that he had no faith in this practice and that his family member were forced to perform this ritual because they were Dalits. Ratnam's refusal and angered both the powerful castes in the village and some families from the own communities. The powerful castes were shocked that such a young boy had the guts to refuse. They believed that it was Ratnam's education which allowed him to imagine that he could start comparing himself with them. Those from Ratnam's own caste were fearful of energizing the powerful. Many worked on their fields as daily wage laborers. If the dominant castes decided to not call them, then what would they earn? How would they survive? They also declared that the wrath of the local deity would strike them if they refused to give in. Ratnam argued that given that not a single Dalit had ever entered the temple, how could the deity be angry with them? Economic and social marginalization expired by Muslim has other dimensions as well. Like other minorities, Muslim customs and practices are sometimes quite distinct from what is seen as the mainstream. Some, not all, Muslims may wear a burqa, sport a long beard, wear a fez, and these become ways to identify all Muslims. Because of this, they tend to be identified differently, and some people think they are not like the rest of us. Often this becomes an excuse to treat them differently and discriminate against them. This social marginalization of Muslims in some instances has led to them migrating from places where they have lived, often leading to the ghettoization of the community. Sometimes this prejudice has also led to hatred and violence. In the above section of this chapter, we show how in the case of the Muslim community there used to be link between economic and social marginalization. Earlier in this chapter, you read about the situation of Adivasis. In class 7th book, you read about the unequal status of women in India. The experiences of all these groups point to the fact that marginalization in a complex phenomenon requiring a variety of strategies, measures and safeguards to redress the situation. All of us have a stake in protecting the rights defined in the Constitution and the laws and policies framed to realize these rights. Without these, we will never be able to protect the diversity that makes our country unique, nor release the state state's commitment to promote equality for all. Conclusion: in this chapter we have tried to understand what it means to be marginalized community. We have tried to look at this through the experiences of different marginalized communities. There are different reasons for each of these communities being marginalized. Each experience marginalization in different ways. We have also seen that marginalization is linked to experiencing disadvantages, prejudice, and powerlessness. In India, there are several more marginalized communities, like Dalits, of whom you will read more in the next chapter. Marginalization results in having a low social status and not having equal access to education and other resources. Yet, the lives of marginalized people can and do changes. Thus, no one is marginalized all the time in exactly the same way. If we go back to the two examples of marginalization we have discussed, we will see that each of these groups has a long history of struggle and resistance. Marginalized communities want to maintain their cultural distinctiveness while having access to rights, development, and other opportunities. In the next chapter, we will read about how different groups have confronted marginalization. ये इसके क्वेश्चन है, और इसके क्वेश्चन हमने शायद पहले कर रखे हैं, तो कोई नहीं, वो देख लेंगे कर रखे हैं नहीं कर रखे। तो अगली वीडियो में मिलते हैं किसी नए टॉपिक के साथ।